Okay. Let's try this again.
Welcome to Forking Off, the podcast for people who said no to just following orders, where we explore the very personal decisions behind leaving federal service, whether it was by choice or by force. Every departure has a story, and we're here to share them.
Hey everybody, I'm Philip Fields. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Forking Off. I've got my wife here, Jill Fields.
Hi there.
And Bryan Janick from the Pentagon Police.
How you doing?
Bryan, why don't you get us started with your bluff?
Yep, so my name is Bryan Janick, and I was with Pentagon Police for 12 years. I decided to take a deferred retirement right before the first package came out. It was probably a week or two before the first package. Anyways, I sent my paperwork in. Then when the package came out, I decided that that was a better option for me. And I tried to immediately accept that offer. And I did it right when I got to work that first morning. I sent it back to HR. I got the email back saying, "We received your email. We'll get back with you." And then I did not hear anything back at all. By the time it was my time to leave on my resignation date, I got word like a day or two after that my package was denied. And so I went ahead with my deferred retirement anyways.
That is really unique among the people that we've talked to so far. So you had actually already decided to leave before the offer came out. And
yes, so about a week or two before. Yes, I tried because it actually benefited me a lot. Of course, the terminology that they explained to me was law enforcement was exempt, and I was not eligible for that first package.
Oh man, that's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
It is very frustrating because it would have been very helpful.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you were with the Pentagon Police for quite a while.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what led you to public service, that kind of stuff.
Yep. So I went to high school in Michigan, and when I got out, I went to college for a semester. And after my first semester at college, I was like, this is not for me. So I decided to join the military. I joined the Marine Corps. My parents were not too thrilled. All my family was in the military, but they were like, we serve so you don't have to type of thing. But I went ahead and joined the Marine Corps. I was a radio operator. I was with 1st Battalion, 6th Marines. I spent 4 years, but most of that 4 years was deployed either Afghanistan or Iraq. After I got out, I applied to go back to college. I did my 4 years. I went to Saginaw Valley State in Michigan. Then I applied for Pentagon Police because I knew I wanted to stay in the federal government. So I applied for a few different places and got a call from Pentagon Police. It was in January. I went for my interview and I was hired on in July. So it was pretty quick.
Wow, that was a fast turnaround.
Yep. So I spent 12 years at the Pentagon. The first few years I was working with our duty platoons and working around the Pentagon. And then the last 10, I did a lot more admin work.
So you had spent 12 years at the Pentagon.
Yep.
What made you think about leaving Pentagon Police? I mean, you've been there for 12 years. You had basically 16 years federal service.
Yeah. So Pentagon Police is under FERS. If we had the law enforcement retirement, then it might have made my decision a lot harder to leave just because you do 20 years and you get 60% retirement, where a law enforcement agency, you do 20 years, you get 20%. It's 1% every year after that. So for me, the decision wasn't as hard. 16 years, I still can take a deferred retirement and get 16%, and I can start a new job doing what I want to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The law enforcement.
Yep. What's funny is there's quite a few agencies that are very similar to our agency that has that LEO retirement. So our agency has tried to get it in the past and been denied several times. So it wasn't going to happen during my time there.
Yeah, that's a bummer. And so, you were at the Pentagon Police. I think we talked before. Near the end, you were in sort of a back office role. Is that right?
Yep, I was working with our chief of staff and chief of police and all the big wigs up back in the back offices.
So, as far as like why you left, like it sounds like you were kind of already on the path of,
yeah,
I've been thinking about this. I want to do it. Was that kind of it? You were just...
Yes, I was to the point where I was ready to go. I love all my coworkers that I had and supervisors. I had great bosses, but for me, I knew a lot of them were also getting ready to retire. So I had an opportunity to leave, so I took it.
Yeah, and I mean, you had this great business idea. It sounds like no better time than the present.
Correct. Yes. And it would have been even better if I got that package deal.
Oh, I know. Although you might be limited in what you could
Correct.
do.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how they do it there, but for us, like during the deferred resignation, we would have to get outside employment approved if we were to start doing that. I don't know how that is for other
Yeah,
agencies, but it's a nightmare for us. It probably wouldn't have happened in the time that we had.
yeah, I'm not sure how that would have worked out either.
So it sounds like you might have wanted to take it if you could have, but is there anything
Yeah.
that you think would have changed your decision as far as like leaving? Is
If we had that law enforcement retirement, that was the biggest thing. Because for me, I mean, I was maxing out my TSP to counter the retirement that we had. So that was the biggest miss, I think, out of this all. But by me resigning, taking a deferred retirement down the road, we were able to take our children out of daycare, and I was able to stay home with them. So that's $5,000 a month that we're not paying in childcare, and I'm able to spend more time with the kids and get a business going too. A little bit of everything. And
That's awesome.
Yep, I'm so thankful to be where I'm at right now.
all right.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, no, that is like as far as what you've been doing since, it sounds like focusing on one, being able to spend more time with the kids, but also getting your business together. How's that going?
And it's getting close now. It's very close. We went by the shop today to see what's going on, and they were inside working. The drywall was, I think all the drywall might have been done. We signed our lease back in February. We signed a 10-year lease. So we're there. We're committed for a while. The rest should go really quick, and our store should be open.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
tell our listeners what your store is, what business you're going into, and how you
Yep.
got into that, because
Yes.
it's a really great story.
So getting ready to open a sports card and TCG, which is like Pokemon, all the gaming cards and stuff like that, and a little bit of memorabilia store. So got into that. I was real young when I started collecting cards. And when I was in high school, we had a house fire, lost everything. So I kind of stopped collecting after that, just because you need collectible insurance on that stuff. That's something they don't tell you. So we didn't have insurance. I mean, we had insurance on everything else, but the collectibles were not covered in the insurance. You have to have different insurance for that, of course. So that really discouraged me. I had all my dad's cards, my cards, and just thousands and thousands of baseball cards burned up in a fire. So then when I joined the military, I kind of started getting a few memorabilia items. After I got out of the military at college, I started getting into cards a little bit, not very much. But in 2019, COVID time, I really got back into collecting cards. A buddy of mine owns a card shop in Michigan, and I would always do online breaking with him. So I would just do the quick breaks, and he would ship me my cards. Then a lot of our neighbors were collecting. I got them back into collecting. So we would get together like once a month and have a night where we open cards and drink some beer. So it kind of started off that way. And then we started going to card shows, and once we went to the card shows a couple times walking around, we're like, we have enough where we can set up at these card shows. So we started setting up at some of the local card shows in Maryland, Virginia, and there's one big one that's very close to us. It's called CSA Card Show in Chantilly. That's a 3-day show, and people fly in from everywhere to just go to this card show. So that really took us off in another direction of, hey, we could open a shop and doing this. I really wanted to do it with my neighbors that I started with, but they obviously have life going on and children, and some of them got kids starting college and stuff like that. So they got other financial issues there. And then
Yeah, college is expensive.
yeah, so expensive. So some of them are still doing it. Our neighbor Scott, he's more of a financial investor right now. So anytime I buy any collections, he's usually buying half with me. We separate it. So like I buy the sealed product, so I know that's straight mine. And then all the individual cards that we have together, it's easy to kind of track that way. Another neighbor recently retired. I think he's going to be coming to the shop a lot. He's been helping out at the last couple card shows. So he's like, what else am I going to do? So he might be at the shop a little bit more. And then one of my old coworkers at the Pentagon, his son is huge collector, and I would always see him at card shows, always said hi and stuff. And I finally got him to start doing card shows with us. And I think he's going to be the first employee at Goatz Sportz Cardz. And then,
Awesome.
yes. Yep. So we're working all that insurances and all that stuff out right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like when I first heard like what the business was and everything, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I told you, I had just recently went home back to my parents' house. And while I was there, I was digging through the tubs of my old stuff that they refused to throw away. And I realized all of my baseball cards were in there.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, so I've been going through them. You know, I mean, I Googled today, and apparently the 90s weren't a great time for baseball cards, I guess.
Junk wax era.
Yeah, I've got a lot of that.
Yep. But there's some cards, if they're in the right condition, still can be valuable.
Yeah, and so like I was looking, and one of the things that I thought was really cool when I was a kid, we had a baseball card shop in town, and I went in and they had this binder with like a complete set. It was a replica set though of the 1953 Topps, I think, baseball cards.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I've got it here. I was gonna
see this.
So it's this like 1953
The
Topps
archives.
set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you know, at the time, I think I paid like $50 for it. It wasn't really like supposed to be like expensive or anything. I think they did a reprint. I Googled, I don't know if any of this is right. If you know these things, tell me, but it said that it was like a 1991 reprint or something.
Okay.
At this point, I'm like, well, okay, 1991 minus 1953, like we're almost as far from 1991 now.
Yes, we are.
And so I was looking, and there was one eBay auction for this set that went for like $15,000 or something. Now, I don't know why, because other ones, you know, were like, you can buy the set for $60 still. But I was like, wow, I need to look through this stuff and see if there's anything good
especially
here.
if they're in really good condition. You can look through them and you can grade certain ones out of them if it's worth it to, if they sell as a PSA 10 or 9. You got to look at what all the prices sell on each grade to see if it's worth it to grade them, but it's possible. And there's a few key cards in there. I would have to do more research on the set.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a cool set. Yeah, I've not seen one of those.
Yeah, it was just like, like 10-year-old me was in the store. Like this was when Field of Dreams was still like a cool movie and stuff. It's got like Jackie Robinson and Whitey Ford and people like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll have to look at. There's some reprints that I graded from like 89 and got some decent grades on like Willie Mays' stuff, and I still ended up selling for a couple $100.
Yeah, there's a Willie Mays.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's something I'll look into.
Yeah, Brian, he was like out in our garage, like digging through, and he was like, I'm gonna find something to show Brian. I'm gonna find something to show
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
there's so many people that have similar stories. Man, I haven't seen these cards in so long, and I'm gonna go find them and bring them out. One of our neighbors had the 86 Fleer set. He's like, it's in my parents' attic somewhere. I will find it. And I was like, maybe, because he said it a couple times. I was like, maybe he doesn't, maybe he does. Well, he came back with it. And then we graded a lot of the key cards. Every single card in his binder came back a PSA 8 or PSA 9. And on that 86 set, you have Jordan, you have Olajuwon, Thomas rookies, all rookie years. And the Karl Malone got a 9. His Jordan got an 8, which is like, I don't know what the exact price on an 8 right now is. I want to say it was about $12,000 when we graded it. And that was just sitting in his parents' attic.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and untouched it. So that was a good thing that was actually in the attic because no sunlight ever got to it. It was just sitting in a binder since he was a kid.
Yeah, I was a little worried because so these were out in my parents' garage in Oklahoma, and it gets pretty hot and humid there.
Yeah, if they don't see any sunlight, they tend to be very a higher grade and stuff like that. But obviously back then, even nowadays, printing, when they print them, you don't know if it's centered correctly, and the centering has to be perfect on it. Like it used to be 60-40 on the centering, but PSA changed their grading to 55-45, I believe. But the centering's got it, and that's nothing you can control. That's how they printed them. So, and then even if it's in the perfect condition, it can be still off center. But
so yeah, I guess like for me, I don't really know much about this kind of stuff. You know, like I just know like when I was a kid, I was all into sports. But like, so how does, I guess, like I don't want to make you go too far into the weeds of it, but how does the grading system work for somebody who's just trying to get an idea of if this is worth it to take to somebody?
They look at four categories when grading it. The centering, the edges, the corners, and the surface of the card, front and back. Those are the four main categories. And as long as those are good, yeah, you get tens. Even on cards printed nowadays, there's so many surface issues, like there'll be pin dots on your card or the centering's off. So when somebody wants to grade something, what I'm going to do at the shop, because we're taking PSA submissions, I'll look at over all the cards carefully before submitting, look over see if there's any surface issues, any edges, corners, and that type of thing, and do my best judgment before sending it off to be graded.
Okay, that's cool. So there's like some sort of organization somewhere that oversees this kind of thing, and they provide the official grades?
Yeah, there's a few different grading companies. One's called PSA. They're the top-notch, top dog in the grading company. And then you have there's Beckett, there's SGC, and a few other grading companies out there too. There's been more trying to use AI lately. They just haven't taken off. Like, it's hard to beat when PSA already has such a huge market and the values in all the card, and a new grading company wants to start up with. People are going to be like, well, I'm not paying as much because I don't know that grading company. So it's very hard for a grading company to take off.
Yeah, I imagine. And I would imagine this is sort of like not a cheap process, right? Shipping today isn't cheap, but then you actually got to pay people for their time and effort doing this work.
Yep. PSA, because that's the one that I use for everything. They charge for like a bulk order. You can send 500 cards. I think it's $19.99 to send a card off right now to be graded. As a shop owner sending submissions, and I got to take responsibility for all the cards and everything, I probably would charge right around $22 or $23 per card to just put my time and effort to see if it's worth a shot to be graded. Because I don't want people in our shop to feel just to submit everything too. I want to look over their cards and be like, you actually have a shot at a 10 on this one. Sometimes I miss some. Like on this I just had a PSA submission come back, and PSA is getting stricter on their grading. It was 126 cards. I had a 38% gem right, which it's not great because I used to be at 50%, but since they're getting a little bit stronger on the grading, it's been a little bit tougher. But everything else was 9s. So I want to say only a couple 8s, and then I missed one. There was one card. I'm still not convinced I missed it, but there was a huge crease in the card.
Could you imagine? That'd be terrible.
It came back a PSA 3.
Oh.
What's crazy is I pulled this card straight out of the pack. I looked it over. There wasn't a crease on it. There is now.
Yeah. So that's wild. So like one of the cards that I found, it's like this old like Michael Jordan cool thing here, right?
Yeah.
All I know how to do is use Google. So, I went to this website. I don't know if there's like better ones. This one is Sports Cardz Pro. And it said like, hey, if this is like in perfect condition and it's the best card ever, the PSA 10, it's like $1,100 right now. And if it's grade 7, which I don't know, to me, 7 and 10 don't seem that far apart, or even 9.5, it says $25.
It's such a big price difference.
Wow. So like you really got to know before you decide to go and spend $20 a card that this thing is in good shape.
Got a shot to.
Yeah. Because otherwise you're just throwing money away.
Yeah. The PSA, since I started getting a little bit strong or harder on their grading, I've noticed a lot of the PSA 9s have been going up in price, and PSA 10s though, because there's just less of them. So I think the normal based on a raw card eventually is going to be a PSA 8. That's my guess. But if I think a card has a 9 or a 10 possibility, I usually, and it depends on the value of the card too. If it's like a more rare card out of 50 or out of 25 or something like that, we'll take a shot on grading it. If it's a lower pop than that, like a serial number wise, like 5 out of 5 or 1 out of 1, I might not want to grade that one because a number on the grade could actually hurt the value sometimes, unless if it gets a PSA 10. That's the only way it's going to get better because it's already a 1 of 1. So usually you want to grade a card to make it more rare than the other cards that are out there. So if there's a serial numbered 1 out of 50, you want a PSA 10, and the other ones are there might be only 10 out of the 50 that come back PSA 10. So you make it more rare. That's the biggest thing with grading that you want to do.
Okay, so like some things might be so rare that they just haven't seen enough to really score. Is that
like this? I have a card here, example. This is a Fernando Tatis Jr. This is a piece of his shoe in the card. They put a lot of different relics now, but he signed the shoe. It's got the back of his cleat in there, but it's a 1/1. I'm not going to send that off to be graded because it's already a 1/1. It can't get better than that.
That's
a lot
so cool.
a lot of people do want to send it off to get graded to protect it a little bit more, but as long as it's in a sturdy, strong case, and there's a lot of different companies that make different cases now to protect cards, I would just put it in one of those and not pay $20 to grade it and just hang on to a 1/1.
So, Brent, in the shop, you're going to have, so you're going to be selling sports cards, and you
Yep.
said Pokemon cards, which
Yep.
we are very well acquainted with some Pokemon cards around this house, or because we lived and breathed Pokemon for years. What about memorabilia?
I have a decent amount of memorabilia to start off with. There's some things that are just going to be on the floor to display, but I do have some stuff that will be for sale. I got some autographed jerseys and sticks and just all sorts of different baseballs and stuff like that. I'll have a little bit of variety there. That's a little bit harder too, because I only want to buy stuff that's authenticated, and it's pretty easy to forge an authentication these days. So memorabilia, I'm on the fence line. As long as it's authenticated by one of the top companies, JSA, PSA, or Beckett, I usually stay with those three grading companies for authentication wise on that memorabilia stuff.
Okay. And you have a pretty good story about some memorabilia that you have that you
Yes.
managed to get.
Yes,
Want to share
I-
that? And you even got.
Yes, I have it here with me right now.
All right.
So,
Let's see.
so my old deputy chief at the Pentagon, he reached out to me. He was like, "Let's go to the Orioles game," and I was like, "All right, let's go." He's like, "Well, we're going versus the Royals. We're sitting front row right next to the Royals bench." And I had a really rare Bobby Witt Jr. card. So I got on Instagram, reached out, sent a message. I told him my story a little bit about leaving the Pentagon and opening a card shop. I was like, let's make a trade. I was like, I'll trade you this card because he's a huge collector too. I was like, I'll trade you my card for a game used bat. That's all I wanted. And I didn't hear nothing back right away. It was probably a few days later. It was about probably 3 or 4 days before the game. He said, let's do it. And I was like, are you for real? I didn't know if this was really him because it's Instagram. I didn't know if it was his account or if somebody else had it. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. And that's the last I heard of it. Just let's do it. So it was a day before the game. I was like, all right, where would you like to meet? And he responded back pretty quick and was like, meet me by the dugout. I'll be waiting before the game. He's like, if I'm not waiting, I'll have security bring you out a game used bat signed. He said, I'll throw in another bat that's like a show model bat of his that's signed. And I said, that's awesome. Let's do it. But I was like,
Heck yeah.
I responded back by, I was like, I really would like to get a picture with you for the card shop that I'm opening. And I didn't hear anything back. So I didn't know for sure if that was going to happen. But it was game day. Man, I woke up early that morning. I was ready. I was really excited. And then I got to my old deputy chief's house and pretty early, and we went to the Baltimore really early. But as we got there, it started raining. It was pouring. So we went to Pickles restaurant there on the corner and we got some food and drinks. I got a text from him saying, hey, I'm at the dugout now. Come now. We looked outside. It was pouring rain. We were like, let's book it.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we started running through the rain. We got to the front gates and they actually started it was raining so hard. They started letting people in early to get under cover out of the rain. So we got in. We got to our aisle to go down where our seats were, but the usher would not let us in. He was like, you guys can't go down yet. It's too early still. I was like, but Bobby's down there. He's telling me to come down and make a trade. The usher had no part of it. So we were like, okay, we went to the next aisle and there was nobody there. We just went straight down. And
Love it.
as I was walking down, I was closer to the home plate dugout side and Bobby was standing on closer to the third base side. We made eye contact. I was like held up like I had the card and whatnot. So he started walking over. There was a bunch of people actually already down there trying to get autographs and everybody was yelling at him because I mean it's Bobby Witt Jr. He's one of the top baseball players in the game right now. When we got down there, he came over and security actually roped it off for us to do the trade. So we had a rope so nobody else could come by. And then I gave him one of our T-shirts that I'm currently wearing, Goatz Sportz Cardz, and I showed him the card and we made the trade. But there was a few things I wanted to say and do. I brought baseball cards to open. I thought it would be really cool to open a pack of cards. Like I just blanked, and because I was just lost in the moment. I got the picture and a video though of us making the trade. After we made the trade, it happened so quick. Security came up to us and they're like, "Okay, we got to escort you out now." And I was like, "What?" They're like, "You can't have these bats sitting at your seats." One, I don't think they wanted them stolen, maybe, and two, probably used as a weapon type thing. Anyway,
Yeah, they're
so
like,
everybody's watching us get escorted out with these bats and asking us, "Hey, who was that? And you just made it? What'd you trade?" And that type of stuff. It was pretty awesome. Once we got the bats checked in and back to our seats, then some of the people came up and started talking to us at the game, and we were like, they were like, "Was that Bobby Witt Jr.?" Yeah, we had a rare card of his. I had the card that I had was a Bowman Sapphire from his rookie year. It was numbered 5 of 5, and it was a PSA 10. And I paid $3,000 for that card. So I knew I was giving, he knew it was a big card too. I was giving up a big item, but I was just doing it for the experience more. Anyway, so we get back after making the trade and the game's over. I drive home, get back at midnight. I make a post on my Instagram with the pictures and saying I tagged everyone in it, Tops and PSA and just anybody in the post. And I went to bed. I woke up in the morning and my post had over 100,000 views by the time I woke up. So many comments and people adding me on Instagram, people from the area and the DMV adding me saying, "Oh, you're opening a card shop we're at." The amount of publicity that the trade brought for us was unbelievable, and very grateful for it. Then Tops reached out that morning to me and was like, "Hey, we would like to post this article on our page. Is that okay?" And I said, "Absolutely." They're like, we'll tag you in it and you can comment and we'll pin it and stuff like that for us." And when they did that, our Instagram page really started taking off. And I think that Tops post, they had I think they had 75,000 likes, so I can't imagine the amount of views it had, and the comments and stuff like that was awesome. There was a few people that were like, "Oh, Bobby fleeced retired police officer," that type of thing, because it was an expensive card, but they just don't know the value of game used memorabilia too. And this is an uncracked bat. I've now photo matched it thanks to some friends that added me on Instagram that are really into game used memorabilia, and they photo matched it to 3 games now, 2 in the regular season and 1 in the preseason. But it's got a lot of significance in photo matches too. The first game that we found him using it was versus Guardians. It was April 12th, and that is our youngest child's first birthday. So that was really cool.
That is
And
cool.
somebody also went out and got lineup card, a game used lineup card from that day. So I have the game used lineup card that they had in the dugout from that day as well. And
nice.
yep, so that was awesome. And then the second date was, we matched it to, was the Detroit Tigers game in Comerica Park, and being from Michigan originally, that just meant a little bit more to me.
Great significance there.
It's been awesome.
And timing wise though, like just for any of those people saying that kind of stuff, you said you had already started out the door at this point, right? Like
yes, I was already gone.
Wow, that is awesome. I do not have any cards that are that cool, but I do have this one. It was a young football player from rural Oklahoma back in the early
Where's that Barry
Sanders?
Let's see it.
It's it's not Barry Sanders.
Oh, okay.
But
oh snap.
I found this. It's from my Pee-wee football days, the Big Reds. We won the Super Bowl that year too, so this is worth a lot.
It's very valuable.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it. You know
Very
what's
valuable.
My wife has made cards for our kids every year, so we got those exact same cards. And Tops actually used to make them, but they stopped making them. So we got Dylan and Callie's rookie year in the Tops card, but the other ones are kind of like an off-brand now. But we have them every year. I get them for Father's Day.
Oh yeah, no, I think
I love it.
the local photography shop in town, they came out and took the pictures and printed these just like your
that's so
school
awesome.
yearbook pictures.
Yep. That's awesome though. I love it.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I love how you got it top loaded too. It's secured.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I was curious too, just since I have you on here, memorabilia wise, when I was a kid, like, so I always would get the magazines, right, that tell you how much the cards are worth, if they're in good shape and stuff. But I remember in the back, they had this section where like you could write a letter to the players, right? And they might respond.
Yes.
On one occasion, I had sent to Frank Thomas, and like I actually got a letter back, and I thought it was so cool because I had sent off dozens of these things at this point, and they just go into a black hole. But he sent back, and I'm sure this is just like a thing that they printed on the photocopier in the office. I don't think he ever touched this, but it was
so
like,
cool though.
Yeah, so like on the back, it's got like, a printed out letter of like, thanks, join our fan club kind of thing. But is that the kind of thing that is memorabilia, or is this more like, hey, this bat was used in this game? Like, how does that stuff work?
No, that's photographs, autograph photographs and stuff like that. That's all memorabilia and stuff like that. Obviously, it might not be a real autograph.
I'm sure it's not.
But I did you know what? It's funny you said that because I did the same thing as a kid too. And I sent off lots of letters. The only person to ever respond that I sent a letter to, you're going to laugh, was Chuck Norris.
Nice.
Chuck Norris. I got a photograph back just like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Chuck Norris?
No sports guys though.
That's cool.
Great.
Yeah.
No, I was pretty stoked though, because the White Sox were like my team as a kid. So the fact that somebody there got back to me was pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's super cool. Yep. And now it's like that as well for these kids, except they got social media to use, and it's a lot easier to reach out to these players. There's so many athletes nowadays that are, hey, I'm starting to collect cards, or I've been collecting cards. I want some of my rare cards, or I'm looking for this player's rare cards. And all these kids are making trades now too. There's a lot of that going on. After I did it, I think I saw like one or two posts before I did it, but after I made my trade, that's all I see on my Instagram feed is people making trades now with professional athletes. There's a picture for the Phillies. He collects a PSA rookie card, a PSA 10 of every player that hits a home run off him. But he also collects Pokemon too. He's big into Pokemon. But anyways, he just got Bryce Harper to start collecting and made a post. It was like, hey, who has rare cards of his? Reach out to me so we can make a deal. And there was a kid that had one of his rare cards that they went to the game and made the trade. It was awesome. I love seeing stories like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
When you started, I was picturing like, a kid like reaches out to some professional athlete on social media and they respond, and then the kid like takes a screenshot and frames it or something. But that's a way better story.
So that's funny that you say that, because I got a screenshot of a few that I've I was like, screenshot.
You save it however you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I don't show anybody that though.
So Jill, I think you had you wanted to ask about Pokemon stuff, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I've got stuff, but it's not nearly as good. I was really looking because when Detective Pikachu came out, there were some limited Detective Pikachus, and I know we have them, but they're somewhere in our kids' bedroom.
They go for a lot of money.
I know, and they're probably in a box because we have got all of those tins. We were in the garage, and I was like, "Oh, look!" And we have the Pokeballs, like all of the Pokeballs. There's some that are metal and plastic and everything. We have like Great Balls, Master Balls, you name it. We've got them full.
Pokemon has taken off and has not stopped. It's on a different level right now. You cannot find it in stores. If you do, it's very rare.
Oh yeah, it's insane. We'd be like, at Target, I'll get you some Pokemon cards. You can't get them.
You can't find them.
Like, I think that started around like COVID, right? Because before then, we'd just buy Pokemon cards whenever we were at the store. And then all of a sudden, there were just none ever again.
Yep. It's crazy. I go out often looking at targets and stuff like that to see if I can find any, and it's very rare that I do. Last Friday, I found some for the first time. I actually walked into Target when they were restocking, and they have a new system in there where you have to, if you get there while they're restocking, he inputs your name onto a little scanner and you get on a digital wait list because they don't want everybody waiting in a line by the registers and stuff. So they're like, go shopping throughout Target, and once we're numbers called, we'll call you up here to pick out the stuff. And
Whoa.
they put so much out last Friday I saw, but they limit you to like one big item and a couple small items, which is awesome because otherwise there's so many people trying to find it, nobody would ever find it. That was the first time in like 2 years I found Pokemon in the wild.
Yeah, we've been glad that like there's been a little bit of a shift away from Pokemon cards because you can't find them anymore. But we have enough that we don't need to worry about finding them. We have boxes and
I got
everything.
very lucky. I got very lucky and I bought a huge collection of sealed stuff back in December, and I've been sitting on it. Everybody's like, oh, bring it to a card show, sell some. I just been holding on to it for waiting for the grand opening. We took a picture the other night and I had our whole living room covered in Pokemon cards.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have for our grand opening.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then one of our neighbor girls too has a probably similar story. She collects all the cards too and has them everywhere in tins and everything. She brought them over to go through with me, and I found one card in there as a ungraded card. It was like a $400 card, but it was a nice Pikachu. And as a PSA 10, it goes for $800. And she actually knew her parents started sleeving and casing them right away because they were like, oh, she's getting into it. When she started up, and as for advice, I was like, make sure you sleeve and case and everything. Like they can still play with them. Just make sure they're in these one-touch cases that they don't fall out of, and you can't scratch them and stuff like that. So a lot of her cards were protected, and there was probably 5 to 10 of them that were in the $100 to $300 range too. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the parents took her cards and put them ones in the safe. And I was like, we need to grade some of these. They're really nice. And so when the shop opens up, they're going to bring them in to grade them.
That's awesome. So
That's how we pay for college.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, maybe this is what we need to do for that college fund.
I know. And if you sit on them, by the time they go to college, there's Pokemon cards out there that go for millions of dollars. Not saying that these ones would, but some of them, you never know. Logan Paul recently paid like $3.4 million for a Charizard PSA 10 first edition.
Oh yeah, we've got a friend that has remember?
Yeah.
As a first edition Charizard, he has it's a PSA 9 though.
Okay. That's still a huge card.
And he's like, no, it is my like.
Is it a hollow or is it a? Because there's a foil one, there's a foil and not foil, but it's still, regardless, that's awesome card.
Yeah, like it was something really.
You got to take a picture and send it to me.
Oh yeah, it was like some sort of like they did something with it that was like customized too, right?
Did they put it in a slab protector case?
Yeah.
Yes. So I sell those in the shop too, but every time Logan Paul would do a fight or whatever, or one of his, because I think he does UFC or something like that, or boxing. He does boxing. I'm not sure what he does. Anyways, whenever he comes out for a fight, he wears it around his neck like a huge chain in a slab case, and it's a $3.4 million.
Oh my God.
He's bought a few cards that are in the millions now. But there's still cards that are newer that you can pull that are still thousands of dollars. It's crazy. I'm sure over time it's just going to grow.
Wow. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that my Sylveon
you gotta find them all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think my Sylveon's going to be the number one, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So when can we expect to hear about the shop opening?
So once the construction is done, and it should be done really quick now since all the permits and inspections have been done. I'm guessing a week to 2 on the construction. I talked to our contractor and they said like a week from when we start back up, and they started up a couple days ago. It might be a week or 2. I'm not sure, but then we'll need a week or 2 to set the shop up too. We actually been doing this whole week every night. The wife and I have been doing inventory, and I read how much I paid for it and what to sell it for. So we've been inventory every night. Last night,
I'm sure she loves that.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, I haven't done this type of math in a long time. It's in our POS system, so that is pretty easy to do. But a few of these collections I bought in bulk. So she has to break it down, find out how much each product, because like say we bought a collection for $1,300, but you got to break it down evenly across the board on all the items. So she gets to do a little math on that. I think she enjoyed that part.
I'm glad she enjoys that. You have a supportive wife there. So
Yes, I know.
That's really great. So the shop is going to be in
Herndon, Virginia.
All right.
It's right next to Carpool Sports Bar. It's perfect location because on one side is a vape shop, then our shop for sports cards, and then the sports bar restaurant right next to us. So you'll be able to get a cigar, a whiskey, and sports cards all in one location.
There you go.
And some wings. Gotta add some wings in there. They got good wings.
Yeah. Add some wings.
That's so cool. And I think you mentioned that you might be hosting some events or working with some of the neighbors to host events. Is that...
Yep. So Carpool, I reached out to them and because they have a lot bigger space than we do to host some type of trade nights and game nights for Pokemon tournaments and stuff like that. So that's one thing. But I also want to bring in a lot of athletes. That's going to be a high priority of mine, and have them open packs of cards with kids and maybe some signings or pictures, that type of thing. I've already reached out to several of them. I've gotten a few responses back, which is pretty cool. I reached out to some of the ones that I knew collected cards and Pokemon and stuff like that. They responded pretty quickly, actually. Yep. Nice. I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
That's great. And I know Northern Virginia doesn't have a ton of collector shops like this, like the card shop. So you fill in that gap there. So.
Yes, there's one in Chantilly, and now there's a new one in Ashburn in our area. But there is nothing like Herndon going up to Tyson's all that way. There's no card shops along that way. So I'm very excited to put a new shop out. There's so many people in the area that are like, oh, I don't have to drive an hour now to go to Chantilly or out that way. So it's going to be good. Yep. And I'm currently working on getting our Tops and Fanatics accounts. So right now, a lot of the stuff I would just look for deals on eBay, or people brought me collections at card shows, some people heard we were opening a shop and, hey, I got a collection, come look at it. So we've been buying sealed products like that for now, and until I'm working on getting that Tops Fanatics account. But I applied for their application, and it is a long application. They want pictures of your shop. They want your store hours. There's a whole list of things, your websites, phone numbers, and stuff like that. So obviously our shop is under construction, so I can't really I sent the blueprints in of what we're doing, and it's like the store sign and stuff like that. So hopefully they reach out. Doesn't take too long to get that account. But then once I do get that wholesale account, then I can bring more products at a cheaper price to everybody in the area.
So Are there any things that like you're really looking, like certain cards, memorabilia, items that you're like really hoping to get in, or you're really excited about having?
Anything and everything. And even if it's people that have cards that they collected from when they're in binders that are just sitting in attics and stuff, I can at least tell them if they got anything good in there, or if they should grade anything, or that type of stuff. Well, we'll help people out with their collections, and if they want to sell, I'm gladly, as long as it fits our inventory needs, and we'll buy it.
Yeah, I imagine you don't know until you look, because like I know just for me, like I found this tiny little box, but then I opened it up and there's probably 300-400 things in here, and I'm sure most of them are nothing, but there could be that one.
And we'll be very honest with everybody that comes in the shop. Say if you bring a $7,000 card in and you think it's only worth a few $100s, and they're like, oh, I'll take a couple hundred, I'll let you know that the previous sale, what it was. If you still want to sell it, I'll buy it at 80%, that type of thing, just so that people feel comfortable selling to us and want to come back.
That's so great.
So I will ask one last question of you, Bryan.
Yes. Yep.
Would you ever go back to federal service?
I will not go back to federal service.
I figured. But we ask everyone.
I know.
It's the final question.
I mean, if the sports card thing ever didn't work out, I mean, I know there's so many federal jobs out there I could get back into if I really needed to, but it is not on my. It is not not gonna
That's
happen.
not on your bingo card.
It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna make this work.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
I
welcome.
feel extremely educated on this topic now as well. So thanks for humoring
That's
me.
awesome. There's so much out there, and it's crazy. The industry is just growing so much. You always had people collecting, but now you got people investing. And with these record sales and the amount of athletes that are getting into it and famous people that collects, it's just going to keep growing. I think a lot of people are like, is it in its high right now? I don't think so. I think it's going to go a long ways.
All right. Well, we wish you the absolute best of luck on this. Like, we're
Thank
really
you.
rooting for you. It
Thank you.
sounds great. A little jealous.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. But whenever we come to Northern Virginia again,
Yeah.
we will definitely
You definitely
stop
got
in
to
the
come in
shop.
and say
Absolutely.
hi. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Now I have to come up with an
And bring
excuse why we need to
me
go.
some cards. I'll look through them. I find all your Pokemon cards.
I know. I'm like, oh, we got to get that. So we're going to find them all, and we're going to bring
Okay.
all. I'm going to have a
Got to
suitcase.
catch them all.
Yes, got to catch them all. I'll bring a suitcase full
Yes,
of
sounds good.
Pokemon cards. Be
Sounds
ready.
good.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bryan. We
You're welcome.
appreciate you joining us.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for forking off.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Forking Off. To our listeners still in government, remember, your integrity is worth more than your TSP. Leaving doesn't mean giving up on public service. It just means finding new ways to serve.
Until next time,
Keep your ethics,
keep your dignity.
and we'll keep telling these stories.
If you're a former Fed with a story to tell, or you're wrestling with your own ethical crossroads, reach out to us at info@forkingoff.com.
Today's episode was created, produced, and edited by Jill and Philip Fields. Special thanks to our guest, Bryan Janick. You can find more information about this episode at forkingoff.com. Also, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Mastodon, LinkedIn, or wherever you get your podcasts.